get into it. A new 30-minute game. We've got the white pieces. Hoping as always for a Caro can. Not today. Not today. We'll get there someday. Got a ruy-lopez on our hands. Pawns come out. Knights come out. Bishop comes out. This is the Morphe defense. We will, of course, drop our bishop back. B5 is part of the main line. Typically, black develops a piece first. Like their knight out to f6 is a good idea. That allows us to castle. Forget what exactly the move is, because it's like knight to f6, we castle. For some reason, they can't take this pawn. We're not guarding it right now, but I think it's typically inadvisable for black to take that pawn. Okay, we'll castle. This is all theory at this point, or at least things that I practice pretty regularly. So I'm expecting bishop out. Oh, they take it. All right, let's see how my theory holds up. I think the move is pawn to d4, threatening to pin the knight to the king. And then if they want to contort themselves, they may. If they have take, we have take back. I think bishop out to d6 is the move here. Or perhaps pawn out to d5. I think those are both decent moves in this position. This is something I have studied my opening theory work. So I'm excited to see it come into action. And I think there is a variation. Maybe it's like, well, no, takes, doesn't do it. I think maybe we've gone past this point. Could be. Okay. They try to scare a bishop away. So we've got this move. Necessary next step. They can take no further steps to harass our bishop. I guess they could play h5, h4, but we'll see that coming from a mile away. So I think it is d5. We take. Maybe their queen comes out to here. Let's see. Knight jumping out to e5 doesn't look quite as good because they take. And I guess we can take back, but then we don't have this very effective pin, pinning the knight to the king, which I would really like to do. I guess too, if pawn comes out to d5, we have bishop takes d5, hitting this hanging knight, and also pinning this knight to their rook, which I think is a powerful move. There's a variation here too where they lose their queen. We get our, it's like, no, this doesn't work. Pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. They wouldn't do this because this loses the knight. But we're castled and black is getting into dangerous territory here because we can deliver this check, potentially supported by our knight on e5 or g5. So I think black should get their dark squared bishop out quickly, even to somewhere like e7, and they get castled because it's looking more and more dangerous. having their king exposed on this semi-open file here. Rook to e1 looks like a great move for us here. But our opponent is taking their time, which I think is wise in this position. They may be unprepared for the complications. I, however, am ready to go. And I'm looking too at checkmating ideas. Okay, so they take. So I think we take, they take, queen takes. Oh, and that looks very dangerous. They need to move their knight back to safety. And then we have rook out to e2, hitting the king. Do we want to play rook out to e2 first? I think we do. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Forcing them to play like d4 or d5 or f5, which are both. I guess d5 doesn't lose because then the queen can recapture. Okay, so maybe we go ahead and take this. They take, we take back. Things are looking not very good for black, I don't think. Fortunately, our knight didn't land on e5, which I think would be a little bit more forcing, but that is all right. I think we've still got a really good position here. Queen comes out, threatening. It looks a heck of a lot like checkmate, so we got to be careful here. It's not checkmate because we have king to h1, but I don't think we can move our rook out safely right now. So we have to be cautious there. We have knight takes, and then potentially queen takes back. We have bishop takes check, but I think queen just drops back. We have something like bishop out to e3, potentially guarding this f2 pawn, but I don't like that quite as much. Say, I think we need to take this knight, and then things start to get dangerous. We can get our dark squared bishop out, and then make some additional threats. Or no, we can just get our dark square bishop out now. And if they take, we can take back. They take, we take back. Okay. Because that's another danger of this queen move. And I guess they do have bishop over here. That looks bad. Well, that doesn't look too bad because then I think we take the knight. Yeah, if their bishop comes out to threaten on c5, threatening our knight, I think we can take here. And then they have to take. No, they don't have to take. Never mind. This is a good tactical position. I'm excited about this. Didn't go exactly according to the theory that I know, but I'm feeling dangerous here. Feeling good. They move their knight out of the way, hitting our bishop. I think we take here, probably queen takes to reinforce the knight. But I think we play rook out to e1 first, hitting their king. And then we dive head first into the complications. So expecting to see knight takes here. Oh, we also have the potentially juicy move. The bishop out to g5. Discovered attack on their king and attacking their queen. If they react, perhaps by interposing their queen, we get to take their queen with our rook. If they react any other way, our bishop takes their queen. There's some dangerous ideas coming up here. And I think the move for black here, yeah, get their bishop in front of their king so that they can get castled, and so they're breaking this dangerous idea. So let's go ahead and take here. I think they need to take back with their queen, otherwise they are losing this knight here. Another option, if they take here, I think we can revisit our idea by knight takes bishop. Okay, so that's the right move. Don't have a way to get this bishop out of harm's way. I do like this bishop. I guess we could play bishop takes, king needs to defend, and then we have a couple of checks available to us. Potentially getting into some checkmating ideas. Let's look at that a little bit more carefully. Bishop takes on f7. They can't castle because this bishop is threatening this g8 square. I think king has to take. I think that's a very good, well, maybe not a very good idea, but I think it's the move. We come out over here with check. They might play something like G, what is this? G6, in which case I don't think we can safely deliver another check, because I think the next check, the next safe check, or the next check would be, yeah, D5 or back to F3, which are both guarded by their queen. And then we can't, I guess we could scare their queen out to C5 if we take there. That seems cool. So we take, their bishop can't move because it's pinned to the king, so they have to take back. Bishop takes on f7, king takes on f7, queen comes out now to f3, which is not guarded by their queen. The king moves probably not to g6, probably back to g8. Oh, and then our rook can take their bishop. And then we're threatening back rank mate. Okay, cool. So I think that's the move. Bishop sacrifice. Queen should take here, I think. This is not forcing, so I guess I should double check and make sure. I should have double checked earlier. I don't think they have any dangerous checks available. Okay. Bishop sacrifice. I guess we're just getting the bishop back. should have calculated this better. Oh, and then their bishop is guarded by their queen, which I didn't see. So take, king takes, queen out check, king back to g8. Oh, and then we can pick up this rook. There we go. Oh, I didn't see this. King over to d8. Good move from our opponent. Wise not to take the bait. Do we have checkmating ideas? Queen to e2 takes with checkmate. Or potentially, if they move their bishop out of the way, queen all the way to e8, rook takes, supported by the bishop, and then that's checkmate. So I think queen to e2 is a candidate move, so I'm going to highlight our queen. Bishop out to d5, hitting their rook. I don't think accomplishes anything super a lot. They can simply move their rook out of the way, and then we haven't accomplished anything. I like the threat of queen to e2. This also adds a defender to this f2 pawn, which I think could be a little dangerous. Oh, it doesn't quite work either, does it? Because their queen is guarding their dark squared bishop, so we cannot take here. Okay. Can we scare away their queen? Perhaps with b4. I don't think that works. We would need to do like a3, b4. b4, queen can simply take the pawn, and it's still guarding this dark squared bishop. Knight out, that would take 2 moves. Regardless, we're taking 2 moves to scare away their queen effectively. So I like knight out to d2, helping to develop a piece. And starting to get some of those threats in. Are there any other threats that we can make? I don't believe so. Connecting our rooks. We haven't moved really any pawns, but our king is castled at least. We can move our knight out to b3 or e4 to try to scare away their queen. E4 does run the risk of knight takes, but then we have queen takes, and then they need to move their rook away, potentially inviting ideas of back rank mate, depending on where they move their rook. So let's scare away their queen. Takes, checkmate. Otherwise, they need to move their queen. I guess the issue with knight to e4 versus knight to b3, e4 is a more centralized square, but it does interrupt our ideas of queen takes, checkmate. Or I guess queen takes check now that their light squared bishop is moved out of the way. Um, but one issue with knight to b3 is that their queen can move to d6, which is prevented by knight to e4. So that's decent. I don't think we can move our knight anywhere with check, but we can move it in such a way that it defends light squared bishop, but that gives it up. I guess if we move it over here, so queen moves, let's say, like to... I think their queen moves in the wrong direction. So, oh no, they have a checkmating battery. So now if we move our knight out of the way, they have queen takes g2 checkmate. So one option here, I have a sticky note on my computer to remind me to snorkel thoughtfully. So rather than just playing h2 automatically when I know that I might need an escape square for my king, considering what other options are available and sort of what's the state of the board. So with this threat of queen to g2 checkmate, h3 doesn't actually do anything against that. So I think in this case I would want to push f3, potentially inviting a check from their dark squared bishop, which I don't like very much. I guess then we can safely take. And then queen comes down, and then king can move out of the way. Yeah, I like that. So we'll play f3. Well, does that lose us our bishop? This bishop we were already going to sacrifice. Here we go. Here's what we can do. Push f3. We lose the bishop. Knight out to g5, hitting the rook. That is now on f7, having captured a bishop. If their bishop takes, then we have queen to e8, checkmate, supported by a rook on e1. Otherwise, they need to move their rook out of the way. Yeah, so let's play f3. Snorkeling thoughtfully today. I think is a good call, expecting to see knight takes. We'll play, or rook takes. We'll play our knight out to g5, hoping for bishop takes, allowing us to checkmate them. I don't think they'll go for it. So they need to move their rook out of the way. Potentially move our knight to here. Well, no, that's not amazing because they can take with the queen. I guess if they move somewhere that threatens. Well, actually, hey, this is wonderful. They need to move their rook out of the way. They need to move it somewhere where it is no longer defending this dark square bishop because they can't move to g7. So if they move up to threaten our knight, we can take this bishop with check, and I don't see a way they can prevent checkmate. So I think they need to keep their rook in place, actually. Do that or do something with tempo, like bishop out to c5. Again, inviting checkmating ideas. Our opponent is in a very tenuous position here. They play the bishop out with check. I think we move to h1, and our threat remains. All their pieces are on the queen side of the board, and I don't believe they can get really anything going quickly enough to attack our king. This rook is undeveloped. I guess our rook over here is also undeveloped. I'm excited to see the game review here to see how effective was this attack really. Like, was it correct to sacrifice the bishop for a large attack. I don't know. But I'm excited to find out sort of how sound this idea was. Ooh, here's a move for our opponent. Queen to c5 check. King out to h1. Queen takes knight. Oh, it's not quite it. Well, I guess it's sort of in the same spirit, but they missed the very forcing maneuver of the check. This way they are guarding their rook, so I think it's still good to take this exchange. Unless there's a different way we want to go about this. I think this exchange is still good for us. This is probably no good. Yeah, so I think we take with check, they take with their queen. And then we will have a moment to reassess our attack. Let's take a gander. We could get a rook out to d1. Threatening this pawn. That gives away our a2 pawn, but I think we're beyond the point of caring about pawns at this point. I think we need to drive home this attack, and quickly, otherwise we'll be in a lot of danger. Rook a to d1. This is a potential idea. d6. We're down a piece, but we made an exchange. Our king is in relative safety. We could start like forking pawns, like queen out to d3 looks decent. Maybe rook to d1 first, and then queen to d3 to threaten this, to threaten like a real checkmate. Yeah. Queen to d1. Also, I guess, yeah, we're not at risk of losing our a2 pawn because then we have checkmate, or check and then checkmate. So if our opponent gets greedy, I think we're in a good position. So we're developing a new threat. Maybe queen over to d3 next, depending on our opponent's next move. Considering this bishop sacrifice for our opponent, takes, queen over to g6 check. We move h1 looks tight. I don't like the idea. I mean, we have this pawn defending us, but I don't like the idea of being trapped in the corner with our king. But f1 looks very exposed. And then maybe they have ideas of like bishop over. Well, no, if they have our queen on g6 and they move their bishop over, then we have this threat is just so strong of queen to e8 checkmate. So if they're moving things out of the way without check, they're in a bad position. It's a good move from our opponent. I think we move forward with, well, let's see. Queen to d3. Well, I guess queen to d3. That's like a one-move threat. They've got g6 in response. So what's like an actual substantive threat that we can make? We could move our queen side pawns. Maybe we take a moment to figure it out and attack over on that side of the world. Um, B3, C4, hitting this B5 pawn. And ever dangerously. Ooh, yeah, C5. Now that this pawn cannot capture, it's sort of pinned to the king. So I like B3, C4. Our opponent is sort of paralyzed. Like if they want to move a piece out of the way, they're going to have a really hard time doing that. C4, and if they push, we have C5. Very nasty threat. I would love a way to scare their queen out of the way. But I don't think, I mean, we can't push this pawn right now because it's guarding this pawn, and they have two attackers on that pawn. So that could very quickly become a weak point in our position. But I like the way C4 looks. Okay, so they prepare for the en passant. Very cool. Maybe A3, they take. Ooh, I don't like that. Mm. Should have evaluated the push a little bit earlier. We could play rook to D4 and then coming over. Yeah, rook to D4. I guess they have either one of these pawn moves to defend this pawn. I guess rook to E4, pawn comes out. We can swing over here now and threaten their light squared bishop. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, rook to D4. Maybe needing another way. Maybe needing to find a way to defend this rook. Expecting to see. Oh, I guess C5 would also be a good idea for our opponent. Or perhaps D5, opening up this bishop as a defender of this pawn. But then they have sort of this isolated pawn that doesn't look very good to me. Rook to F4, attacking their queen. If their queen takes, then we have our checkmating threat. We move over here, and then we checkmate. If we move over here, where does their queen go? Let's look at all the possible squares. So nothing on this file. They've got a couple of escape squares. Okay, so they play that. Okay, so I think our options here: queen to b5, hitting their bishop, or rook to f4, hitting their queen. So I want to finish this exercise of looking at all the queen's escape squares. Again, if they move the queen, we have checkmate or checkmating operations to follow. So we move rook over there. Everything on this file is no good. If they take the rook, they're in grave danger. This is safe. This is safe. This is guarded by pawns and our queen. Potentially good. Okay, so they have a handful of escape squares. But they do need to move their queen. Yeah, let's force... and they don't really have any good forward squares to move their queen to. And I think that's the most appealing part of this move, is that We're forcing them to move their queen, probably to a worse position. I guess this would be the worst for us. Although, hey, that's pretty good. And then we have this forcing line. Queen, oh yeah, here we go, here we go. Queen moves out of the way. Queen moves to d5, for example. Rook sacrifice on f8. Check. They could move their king up, in which case I think we have we don't have any more checks available to us then. Oh, in which case we do a rook trade. That's not ideal. Maybe rook down and then back. Oh no. Yeah, if their queen moves over here, then we have check, king moves, check, and then we're on a king hunt. That looks very dangerous for our opponent. Rook comes down, bishop takes, queen to e8 checkmate. If they take... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and we can't take this because it's guarded by the pawn. That's a good move. So now I think we hit their light squared bishop. Yep. Getting closer, ever closer to checkmate. Maybe bishop to a6 looks decent here. But then we have queen to c6. Forking their pieces, that doesn't quite do it because then they have rook to a7. I think I should have taken a little bit more time here to evaluate candidate moves. Yes, bishop takes a6. Queen takes a5. And then their bishop is pinned to their rook. Yep, okay. So one candidate move, queen to a5. Queen takes a5. Don't believe they have any checks. Or they do have this check available to us. But then I think we take back with a rook. Okay. Rook takes with check. Queen takes, king takes. That's no good. Rook takes bishop. They can recapture with the pawn, and then we don't do anything about this queen here. We could move our rook. Oh, you know what? No, we have to make a queen move because our queen is hit by their bishop. So let's evaluate our other options. Just going to look at everything. A lot of these just lose our queen, which of course I do not want to do. These lose, these lose. We analyze those. Loses the queen, loses the queen. Blocks the rook. I think these are unnecessarily passive, especially don't like f1. Oh no, all these light squares are hit by the bishop. Loses to the pawn, loses to the pawn. Yeah, maybe queen takes a5 or queen to c6. I think both good options. And then, yeah, like queen to c6, forcing them to move the rook out of the way and giving us a tempo to play rook to e4, finishing up our scary approach on this e8 square. We're so close. So very close to checkmate. The rook to a7, I think, is the move here. Rook to a7, rook to e4. Probably they say they make some inoffensive move. Rook takes with check. Yep. Let's look for 30 seconds. We play rook to e4. How can they prevent this? Bishop to was this e5 looks decent because our rook is no longer staring down their queen. Any other better threats available to us? Threats. Another potential threat if we move our rook to e4 is bishop to b7. But then I think we have rook takes with check, and then they're in very dangerous territory. I think if we move here, we'll just need to move our queen out of the way of all of this unpleasantness that we've gotten ourselves into. And if they see this, then we're in a good spot. If they see this and take it, this bishop to b7 move. Let's make sure this works. Rook to e8 check. Their king cannot move anywhere because their queen is covering all of these escape squares. Queen takes, supported by a rook on e1. I believe that is checkmate. So I think bishop to e5 looks good here. Bishop back to e7 looks good. Yeah. It's a good move. Potentially, do we want to do anything like rook takes, pawn takes, rook to d1 check? They move over to c8, and then I don't believe... Yeah, and then we can't play queen to d7 because their queen takes. Okay. So, rook sacrifice is no good. Does rook to d1 look dangerous at all? No, not really. We need to move one of these pieces so we don't run into bishop to b7. And this is sort of an ugly maneuver. Queen to a4 looks like our only option here. I don't love that. We're still staring down this diagonal that's very dangerous for their king. But I think that's the move that we're going to have to make. We're going to have to speed this up just a little bit to make sure that we don't run out of time. We are threatening this a5 pawn at least. Good moves for our opponent. I don't see anything particularly appealing. Do they have a way to reinforce this pawn? I don't think so. Maybe queen over to d5 could do it. And that starts to threaten sort of some unpleasant nastiness. They play c4, they play en passant. Don't like that very much. Okay, they get there. They still play bishop to b7. I think that's a good move. Jeez. Rook, rook. Not quite getting there. Mm, tough stuff. Maybe we drop our rook back a square. I want to keep our rooks connected. If their bishop comes out of the way, do I like the idea of... Oh, shucks. We're going to lose that rook. They're going to pin a rook to our king. We've got 7 minutes to figure this out. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Still in the game. Still perhaps some options here. Rook to d4, king to f1. Bishop takes on e3, rook takes on e3. If their queen moves out of the way, we have checkmate. So still a dangerous situation for our opponent, potentially. Okay. An option to get the heck out of here. Just like that. First, I think I do want to... I mean, what are they going to try to do here? Maybe... Oh yeah, rook over looks dangerous. I think we should play... Get our queen out first. So now if they come over, we have queen takes bishop. It's getting fraught. Both running low on time, 6 minutes and 7 minutes. Take this right to the very end. If they want to get out in front of us, we can take their pawn. Not really threatening much else. This still looks like a good move. In which case I play king to f1 to break the pin. If they... Actually, I don't need to break the pin. Well, yeah, I don't need to break the pin. They can do that for me. So I play... They play bishop to d4. I take their bishop. They take my rook. I take their bishop back. And then I think it's a queen. It's an even endgame. It's a queen and a rook against a queen and a rook. So they can't play this right now because that allows us to equalize. They're going to lose probably at least this a5 pawn. And they're spending a lot of their precious little time remaining contemplating this move. Maybe they have something especially dangerous. Maybe bishop sacrifice, in which case I like rook takes to hit their queen. Potentially queen over, or like queen to h5 and then queen takes h2 check, supported by their dark squared bishop. This is interesting. If their queen does come over here, I think takes is interesting. King moves. Oh, well done. That's a strong move from our opponent, I think. Now their king is no longer a defender of this e8 square, though. So I wonder, does a rook sacrifice work now? Take. And and then rook up with check. No escaping. Queen to e8 checkmate. It's a dangerous move. And they don't have to go for it either. Although, if they don't take back with their pawn, we have rook to e8. That's very forcing. Okay, so they certainly have to take back with the pawn. Rook takes, and they have one move to prevent disaster. Bishop over here loses the rook. So we've effectively traded rooks, but that comes with check. Yeah, I think we have to go for it. We only have a few minutes left. Takes. Still guarding this escape square with our queen. Otherwise, their king has nowhere to run once we get a rook on that e8 square. Yep. Not looking good. Queen can't defend it, I don't think. How do you prevent rook to e8? No checks. Oh, rook over to e6? Potentially. Offering another rook trade. Oh, that looks good. I think then we have to take the rook trade. Oh, I mean, if we do that, rook to e6, rook takes an e6, queen takes an e6. They have the threat of queen to e1, checkmate. Ugh. Do we have any other responses to rook to e6? We have a check, but we lose our queen. Yeah, I think rook to e6 would be the move here. I think if they do that, we can move our rook. We can move our rook back. That doesn't look very good. Do we move our king up to f2 to prepare more escape squares? I think that's probably the move. What's this? Ooh. That's a good move. That's a very good move. Pawn to c6. Well done. It does box in there. Oh, boxes in both of these pieces. Okay. So if we can be quick about it, we can still win this game. Check takes check. Nope, they escape. What if we move down to e2 to reinforce our rook and then come down with check? We come down with check, they move up, we win their queen. Maybe? Yeah, I think that's the move. We go to e2. Needing to think quickly here. c6, I think that's going to be tough for our opponent because it boxes in two of the three pieces they have remaining. Rook to e8 actually looks bad because they have king to d7. What about rook to e7 hitting their queen? And then, depending on where they move, we potentially have queen up to e6, delivering check, and then getting in for a checkmating attack. So I think that looks decent. Our opponent has 30 seconds to figure it out. I don't like their odds very much. We will take our time as much as possible, but I think they might run out of time here. In which case, I would be very excited to see the game review. All right, they've got 5 seconds. I don't think this is happening. All right, opponent times out. Strong game. It says you won with a nice tactic. I don't know about that. I was down material. Let's take a gander. Let's see how strong this attack was. Switch to the analysis board. Come on. Here we go. Let's take a look. Book moves. Ruy-lopez. Nothing too crazy here. Morphe attack. Castles. Knight takes. Pawn to d4. Scare away our light squared bishop. He takes d4 is an inaccuracy. Yeah. We take the pawn. They don't take back. f6 is best. Okay, so that was a good move. e3 is a mistake. I should have gone ahead just directly capturing their piece. e1 is excellent. e7 is a blunder. I'm able to win a rook through an eventual skewer. How does this happen? It's very exciting. Okay, so e7 is a blunder. Knight takes c6, which is what I played. Queen takes c6. Oh, look at that. Bishop to d5, skewering their queen and their rook. Oh, monster play. Oh, so I missed that. Okay. I got the first right move. Missed here. Okay, I found the right idea here. Yeah, what's the correct follow-up here? I don't think I had it. 7, we're going to f3 check. Bishop moves in front. I didn't get this either. Oh, they correctly, I think, did not capture a bishop. I don't know. It seems like... Oops, I skipped too far ahead. Seems like we were getting ready to win that rook to me. Connecting your rooks was a good move. I should have moved my bishop out of the way. Best move was to capture a knight. Okay, yep. Left my bishop hanging. Okay. Queen, yeah. So this is the idea that I spotted of queen to c5 being a very strong move because it comes with check. It allows them to pick up our knight for free. Fortunately, they missed that. We take the rook. They take back. Develop my last piece. Black still has an enormous advantage here. So I wasn't as far ahead as I thought I was, although we did threaten a number of checkmates. Threatening to win the rook. 7. We're threatening to force eventual checkmate. d4. Oh yeah, if they don't play anything. Oh, that's interesting. So they can show what it looks like if your opponent makes like a dummy move. Bishop d5 was the right move here. Queen to a4 was the wrong move. What is the right move? It allowed opponent to win a queen by eventually trapping a piece. Yeah. Oh, I could have just pushed my pawn up. And then we're in a rook endgame. Missed that opportunity to play f4. Threatening to win a queen by trapping a piece. I'm surprised not to see bishop to d4 on the list. I wonder if that's like a decent move. It's excellent. Okay, that pinned to the king will win material. Okay, yeah. So that was an option, and I think our opponent should have been trading here into the bishop, which was under attack. Sacrifice was a good move. C6 is an accuracy. Yep. Rook to C6 was a move here as well. Oh, I see. Another way to block off the queen's access to that E8 square. C6. Queen to E2 is excellent. Yeah, so not as strong of an attack as I thought it was. It did have some of the right ideas here, but missed this pin, or missed this skewer, which would have been good. Okay, so I missed a handful of tactics. I think I've been slacking on puzzles a little bit. Maybe it's time to pick puzzles back up. All right, well, I'll take a win, even if we won on time, and we're not getting ready to win the game. But yeah, this feels pretty good. I'll call it here. Have a good one, y'all.